What's going on, you guys? We are back, and it has been a while. I know, but hear me out. So we've been doing a lot of thinking, and I'm gonna probably stop making gaming videos on this channel. I'm gonna start transitioning over into a storytelling kind of channel, but I'm gonna be doing it with a couple of my buddies. This one in this video, his name is JD. We had a freaking hilarious time doing this video, man. I'm gonna probably upload a blooper video right after this one, so you guys can see the process it took to make this. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know all the feedback, if you guys like this, if you don't. Hey, and also this guy right here, this is Mason Jet, and that's his TikTok handle. Y'all go follow him. He is a badass. He's a beast on the field, man. I've been watching some of his videos, and dude, the way he's breaking some of these kids' ankles, it's not even fair, man. So yeah, go give this kid a follow and go look for yourself. Go see for yourself how good this kid actually is. But hey, I hope you guys enjoy the video. See you guys next time. Peace. All right, so for our first story, this is going to involve a male by the name of Tain Liao. Now, Tain Liao is the kind of man that loves to eat sashimi every single day.
Oh, I love
Ever
sashimi.
since,
I love sashimi.
You know what sashimi is, right?
Yeah. Salmon, like on a bed of rice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, for those of you that don't know, a little better explanation
Always got to do it
is sashimi is basically just a raw, cut up piece of salmon that is either
salmon.
laid.
Salmon. They all look silent. Salmon.
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 A cut up piece of salmon that is laid on top of a bed of rice or any side of your preference.
Imagine it was on one grain of rice. A whole fish.
You know what I mean. Now, okay, so our main character, Tain Liao, one day, unfortunately, he ended up eating a piece of sashimi that was actually contaminated with tapeworm eggs. Now, after he ate this sashimi, later down the road, he started getting these symptoms like stomach aches and itchy skin.
My skin's itchy right now.
Well, did you eat fucking fish earlier? Now, so Tain, after experiencing these symptoms, he got real worried, and he decided that he was going to go to the doctors and get checked, because I mean, obviously, it wasn't anything that any medication over the counter could treat. So once he went to this hospital, which was Guangzhou People's Hospital, which is also located in Guangdong province in China, the doctor ran a couple of x-rays on him, and after running the x-rays, they realized that he was actually infected with tapeworms all inside his body. And that right there
God.
is what the x-rays were.
That's where they all are?
Yeah. Now, this is, I think, his back. You can see they're all over the back of him. And then this is the front view, I think. I mean, I don't know.
That's the side view.
Is it?
I think.
Well, one of the views. But you can just see it everywhere. You know, he's clearly just like dude, that's gross. Now that's gonna happen when you eat raw fish for most of your life.
I wonder if that can happen if you eat sushi all the time.
Technically, yes.
Like every day?
Well, I mean, all it takes is just a contaminated piece, and then from there it just grows. You know what I mean? That's the risk of eating. That's the risk of eating raw food. Obviously, you eat the food with the risk. So once realizing that he had this tapeworm, once you contract this tapeworm, if it doesn't get treated, it can cause cystic sarcosis, which from there it'll become infectious. And at that point, I mean, you don't want it to get to that point, but if it was to ever get to that point, it can become life-threatening if the tapeworm was to ever reach your brain, which there's a 50% chance you're going to live at that point. Now, detained reportedly after an interview that they had with him about this whole, situation that he had. He reportedly said that he has been eating sashimi nearly every day for years, but never thought that it could be this bad or that it could do this to him. And he also says that hopefully this will act as a warning for other raw fish dish fans.
Raw fish dish.
Raw fish dish. I'm rapping now. But how do you feel about the whole situation? Does that kind of push you away from eating that kind of stuff, or?
I mean, I don't really eat raw fish anyhow, but
You don't?
I mean, sometimes I'll fuck around and go to Pac Rim. But like I said, I can only have this spicy tuna roll.
Yeah. I mean, I like eating tuna, dude, but I like my shit cooked. I don't like that feeling of the only thing that
Which
I'll
is good
eat.
as fuck though.
Yeah, it's delicious, but I don't think I would do that. I've seen those little.
I mean, I wouldn't eat it every day,
Yeah.
but
See, for me, I've eaten.
like if you eat it and you get a tapeworm, so long as you don't keep eating it every day, like.
Yeah, but the bad part is like you could eat it, and then let's say the first time you eat it, it's contaminated.
Well, the tapeworm should just stay in your stomach though.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I don't know the full knowledge of that, but
Well, it was all over his shoulders and
dude, that's horrible.
everywhere.
Can you imagine that? You think you just got really bad allergies and
That's why he ended up looking like he did. Right?
What are you talking about?
Like, he was like, how long was he in the hospital, you said?
In the hospital?
This guy.
What are you talking about?
Oh, that was the other dude that was in there for like 80 days.
Yeah, these are two different
I
guys.
was like, that's why
It was fucking eating.
All right, so now this story involves a man by the name of Cornelius Michael Anderson III, and so his story starts in August 15th of 1999 in St. Charles, Missouri.
I've
Now,
been to St. Charles.
have you?
That's nice.
Is it nice?
Yeah.
Well, this dude fucked up in St. Charles. So in 1999, Anderson and his cousin decided to go and rob a Burger King. Now, they decided to rob the Burger King.
Rob us for life.
Now they decided to rob the Burger King with an actual BB gun. And
Was it a Daisy or like a?
I don't know, whatever they had in 1999.
I mean, they had Daisy.
It looked realistic, is what the reports say. It looked realistic enough.
Like a real gun.
Yeah, it
Or
looked.
it's
It
just 'cause
looked.
He's black.
No. No. Well, maybe at that time.
I mean,
But so Anderson at the end of the robbery, obviously he got away with $2,000. Now, where they kind of fucked up.
$2,000 from a burger.
Yeah, dude. Now that's a lot, huh? Now
Have
where?
it your way, I guess.
Yeah. Is that Burger King?
Yeah. Have it your way. Or it used to be.
Yeah.
Back when I was coming up.
Shut up.
Swear.
Like 5 years ago.
Bitch.
Bitch.
20.
Huh?
I'm almost 30.
All right, so Anderson actually fucked up because him and his cousin ended up going to go deposit this money at the bank literally the day after they committed the robbery. And one of the witnesses ended up actually seeing them at the bank. So while they were depositing the money, the cops, got called and everything, but luckily
So
for Anderson.
they robbed Burger King.
Yeah.
And went and put the bank right in their account.
Yeah, the next day.
That's pretty smart.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to get caught. But I mean, luckily for Anderson, he never got caught. So 2 months later after the robbery, he was actually caught because somebody saw his license plate on his car that resembled the car that they described whenever the robbery was committed. So they called, obviously, the cops. They showed up, and they ended up finding him hiding in his girlfriend's apartment. Now, where it gets a little bit crazier is, so, he ended up getting convicted for armed robbery in March of 2000. And whenever...
With the BB gun, though.
Yeah. They said that he armed it with an actual, like, a real gun, but it was actually a BB gun. But since there was no way of actually telling because he never got caught, they obviously accused him of using a real gun when it was just a BB gun. So they searched his whole apartment and everything, never found a real gun, but they still convicted him with it. And then that same year, he was convicted for 13 years for an armed robbery. And in 2002, he was actually released on bail due to a pending appeal that his lawyer actually requested. But then it got denied due to, his crime. And for some reason, due to unknown errors, they said it was errors on the state side. He never got picked up to go to jail. So whenever he got convicted, he asked his lawyer, what do I do now? And he just told him, go home. They're going to put out a warrant for your arrest.
So the whole time he never went to jail?
Yeah. So they told him, wait at your house. They're going to send you a letter, tell you where to go and where to turn yourself in. But he never got that.
The next day?
But he never got that letter, or nobody ever came to pick him up.
For how long?
Well, it turned into 2 days, and then from 2 days to a week, and then from a week to a month, and then it just went on and on and on. And then finally, he even put out he sent them a letter saying like, hey, who's gonna come get me?
So
like,
sent him a letter, hey,
yeah, telling him basically, telling him that he never got put in prison. But for some reason, they never got that letter. So he just kept living his life. And then later on in life, he met his wife. He had kids. He created a business. He bought a home. He coached a football team.
Was it a burger joint?
No, it was actually construction. He got into carpentry. So, he did all that. He even got his license. He did everything. He renewed his license. He paid traffic stops, and he used his real name the whole time. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't doing anything. Well, 13 years later, whenever they finally realized, like, all right, it's this guy's time to get taken out of prison, well, they realized that he was never in prison. So one day he was...
Oh, they thought he was there the whole time?
They thought he was there, but he wasn't. And 13...
sending them letters? Hey, I'm the guy you want.
Yeah, basically. He said... So,
no, we already got you.
So see, what a lot of people say is, he why didn't he make the effort to tell him, that,
But
he did. So it wasn't his fault, I mean, what would you do at that point, So...
Called him.
You would have called him?
Wouldn't have called him.
Oh, I mean, me neither, honestly. If we're going to be honest, I wouldn't call shit. I'd just be like, you fucked up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so he created a life for him. He basically rehabilitated himself without going to prison, because that's what prison is supposed to be for, right? To rehabilitate you. Well, after they found out that he wasn't actually in prison, one night he was having dinner with his family, all his kids, and then the SWAT team just broke into his house, grabbed him, and said, you're going to prison for 13 years later, So they haul him out of his house.
So and nothing happens to them, even though they thought they had him the whole time. So that doesn't take time.
No, I mean, to them it was just like trying to cover up a stupid move that they did. That was their fault that they never took him in. So they figured, let's bring him back in. We'll make him serve his time now. Well, after he got taken in, the people in his town started a petition saying that's not fair. That's not his fault that you guys messed up. And after 90 days of fighting it and all the petitions, he was finally released out of prison, because the judge said, you became a father, you became a good citizen, you contributed to the community, you basically did what we're supposed to do in the justice system to yourself. So in May 5th of 2014, he was released out of prison, and he didn't have to serve his time anymore. Now, let me ask you this. Do you feel like he should just get out just like that? Or do you feel like they should have at least put him they should have put some kind of fine that he had to pay because he never
got out just like that?
Just like that? Because a lot of people say that's not fair,
He reached out to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Years ago.
Yeah. And see, what a lot of people kind of argue is he didn't spend the time that he was supposed to spend in prison. He only spent like 2 years at max, maybe 3 years in prison out of his 13 sentence. So what they say is they should have given him either a hefty fine or at least put him on some sort of probation because he got away with that. But I honestly think that
maybe an ankle bracelet or something.
I mean, honestly, 13 years later, dude, come on, you're a changed person, you know? This story is gonna take place in Japan. So in Japan, over 2 decades ago, there was a radiation tech. So this tech, his name is Hasashi Ouchi.
That's not right.
What do you mean? So it's Hasashi Ouchi.
Ouchie? Like,
Bitch. Okay. It's actually ouch. So he's a 35-year-old male, and so what Hasashi was actually doing in this plant, the whole reason for the explosion was actually him and his coworkers' fault, which revolves back to the employer's fault for putting them into this. But so Hasashi and his colleague, they were pouring liters of uranium into a big old metal vat. You know what a metal vat is, right? Yeah.
like a cylinder?
It's just a big ass tank, basically. So they were pouring this uranium into the metal vat.
Nothing else was in it? Nothing else was in it? It's just blank?
No, well, I mean, I don't know, whatever chemical they have in there. But they were mixing chemicals is what they were basically doing. And this takes place at the Tukaimura nuclear power plant. Tukaimura. You gotta give it that.
It's also a soup.
Shut the fuck up. So, the problem with what they were doing was that they actually ended up overpouring the uranium. They weren't trained to do this task. Nobody had ever trained them or told them how to do it. So whenever they poured in this uranium, it caused a bunch of radiation and gamma rays to come up into the atmosphere, which then obviously caused the explosion. And then later down the road, they ended up finding out that they poured 16 kilograms of uranium into that metal vat, which the legal limit is 2.4 kilograms. So they literally poured.
Isn't kilograms a dry weight? Isn't kilograms a dry weight or liquid weight? Oh, it's dry shit they're putting in, like bags?
No, kilograms is just like metric, bro. Like kilograms to us is pounds. Well, I mean, come on. You know, so they were pouring 16. The legal limit is 2.4. That's
little much.
Almost like 7 times the limit. So right at it. So this obviously, was not right. And so what a lot of people, they blame obviously the company because they told them to just manually transfer this uranium. There was no measuring involved. No training, nothing.
Oh, these guys don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. So after the explosion, he ended up getting treated at the University of Tokyo Hospital.
That wasn't a fart, by the way. It was a chair. It was a chair, I swear.
So he got treated at the University of Tokyo Hospital, and Hasashi himself absorbed 17 sieverts, which
what the fuck is a sievert?
That's the measurement of radiation that you take into your body. So he
How many
absorbed.
are you supposed to absorb?
That's what I was getting at. So he absorbed 17 sieverts. The fatal limit is 4.5. Now,
Did it kill him?
No, he was still alive. He was still alive, but
so the fatal limit was 4.5 and he took 17.
17, but he was suffering.
Like 50 Cent. Took 9 shots, still kicking.
For a little bit. For a little bit. Not as long as 50 Cent, but so this obviously, that's too much. So it caused him to lose all his white blood cells, which then could cause you to, catch any kind of serious infection. When you have no white blood cells, you can catch anything basically, So
and less oxygen. Less oxygen.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what they had to do to keep him alive. They had to pump him with blood and oxygen just to keep him alive. So he obviously he also needed some extensive skin grafts and then a lot of blood transfusions, like a lot.
So what about the other cat though? It was two of them, right?
Yeah. Well, though.
It was two of them, right?
Yeah. Well, I think he caught a little bit less than him. He got like 10, I think. But I mean, still failed. They both passed away. His just was not as bad as Hasashi. So, Hasashi actually, it's reported that he would tell them, because he was getting treatments, and then his family was accepting. Like they told him, like, keep him alive. Well, a week into his treatment, he reportedly told them and begged them to stop, but they wouldn't. They wouldn't on the request of the family, and they wanted to keep researching because to see what was going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So he literally told them, I can't take it anymore. I'm not a guinea pig. But they kept going. They just wouldn't put him out of his misery. I mean, it's kind of messed up when you think about it. But so 2 months after that accident, his heart gave out 3 times, which then caused problems to his kidney, his liver, all his inner organs. And still, they kept bringing him back because the family kept requesting for them to bring him back. And finally, after 83 days of just agonizing pain, he passed away on December 21st, 1999. And the reason for his death was because of multiple organ failures. Now, think about...
So he made it 81 days?
83.
83 days?
Think about how bad that must have been. Like, there's pictures online. You can find these online. I didn't want to put them because, I don't know, YouTube's rules and stuff. But you can literally find a picture of him laying in the bed, and all his skin has melted. And all you see is basically his skeleton with meat on it. And he's still alive. And then his wife reportedly would walk into the room and look at him, and it looked like he was crying blood. But they wouldn't stop the treatment.
What's the point of being alive if you're like that, though?
Yeah, that's the way I see it. But I mean, it's messed up. It's messed up.